Have you ever realized that every single person in an airport doesn't want to be at the airport? The workers are working jobs at an airport. They'd probably rather be home with their friends and family. The pilots are going to somewhere or coming from somewhere, and they don't want to be at the airport. They want to be with their friends and family. And the people traveling, they don't want to be at the airport. They want to be at their final destination. I guarantee you not a single person went to the airport hoping to just hang out at the airport. Nobody wants to be there. And that makes for a great environment for bad reviews. For example, John says this: every last employee is as rude as it gets. Their inferiority complex is palpable. This place is the size of a small European country, and yet our flight gets flipped from one terminal to another more times than I can count, and the place reeks like an abandoned movie theater. Hopefully the next layover I get lands at Guantanamo Bay. I'd have more fun there. You know, Guantanamo Bay, where the US allegedly tortures alleged terrorists at Guantanamo Bay. John wants everybody to know, hey, I'd rather be waterboarded at Guantanamo Bay than spend one more minute in this beautiful, air-conditioned, food-abundant place known as Chicago O'Hare International Airport. Thank you, John. You know, I have a feeling that John, this is just a hunch, okay? It's just a feeling. But I have a feeling that John has never been waterboarded before. Could be wrong about that. Next up, we have maybe one of my favorite reviews I've ever seen, and it's from a man named Jerrod. And Jerrod says this: sucks. There are no redeeming qualities at this airport. It should be bulldozed and the earth where it was raised salted. The airport is a complete and total dumpster fire of monumental proportions. Now that review is funny in itself, and it would be very funny if the city listened to Jerrod and just bulldozed the entire airport and then threw salt on the ground where it was. And if anybody asks, hey, why are you doing this? They're saying, I mean, Jerrod wanted us to do this. Jerrod asked for it, and Jerrod's word is law. But it's not really the words of this review that make it my favorite. It is the pictures that Jerrod attaches. And that is pictures plural. And to be exact, there are 17 pictures that Jerrod attaches to his review. Let me show you just the first one. Okay, cool picture. I don't see anything in here that's really heinous. I don't know what offended Jerrod about this picture. It looks like a normal airport, and there's kind of like a wooden overhang at the top of the airport, which looks pretty cool. I like that airport. Okay, here is the next of the 17 images. And you'll notice the wooden overhang is still there, which means that is not a wooden overhang. And at first I was like, is that his finger, right? Is he holding kind of the iPhone, and his finger has like slipped over the camera lenses, and we're getting like just the top of his finger in all the pictures? Because guess what? This wooden overhang looking thing is in all 17 images that he attached to his review. So I'm like, okay, look, it's his finger, it's fallen over the camera lens. You know, one time I saw an old guy holding an iPhone backwards and trying to look through the camera to see the picture, because that's how older cameras worked. If you're Gen Z, no cap, that's actually how cameras used to work. But I saw an old guy holding the phone backwards, flipped around, trying to look through the camera lens. Maybe that's what Jerrod is doing here. He's a little bit confused. His finger has slipped over the edge of the camera. Turns out that is not the case. Every single photo, so I'm going to keep showing you these, every single photo of these 17 has this thing at the top of it. Jerrod has no idea, didn't notice at all, posted all 17 photos attached to this review. It all culminates with this final photo, which we need to spend a little bit more time on. So here is the final photo, the culmination of Jerrod's review. So how was this photo taken? How was this photo taken? It's clearly in a bathroom mirror. So first of all, it was taken illegally, because you can't take pictures like that in a bathroom, in a public bathroom. Second, he's not holding a camera. He's not holding a phone. How did he take this picture of himself in the mirror? Well, it turns out Jerrod is more sophisticated than you or I could have ever imagined. He is wearing smart glasses that are taking pictures as he blinks, as he says something. I'm not sure. These glasses are dumb. They only help me see. They don't do anything other than help me see. It's ridiculous. Jerrod has smart glasses, and as he blinks, pictures are being taken, which means that thing at the top of every single photo is not his finger that has gone over the edge of the camera, over the lens of the camera. No, it is his Tennessee Volunteers hat. That is what is in every single one of his photos, because all of these photos were taken with his smart glasses. Go Vols, Jerrod. Go Vols. Jerrod unfortunately doesn't explain any reasons why the airport offended him so badly, but that is not the case with our next reviewer, whose name is Norbert. And Norbert says this: worst airport experience I've had. There was extremely long line to security to section dedicated for our gate, so after several minutes of waiting, the airport staff moved us to another line where we had to wait for an additional hour just to pass through security. Then to move us our gate section of the airport, we had to wait for a bus standing outside on a rain. At first we were under the roof, but the airport staff told us to move. Once we arrived by bus, we had to climb the long stairs with all our baggage. BTW. Don't put anything valuable in your checked-in baggage, because being slammed to the ground from top of cart around 2 meters. So I want you to picture this scene. Norbert, whose name is literally Norbert, like his parents as a baby, looked at him as a baby and said, you know what would be a cute name? Norbert. So Norbert already has this name, and Norbert does not want to be at this airport because, as we've been over, not a single person on earth wants to be in an airport. Norbert is waiting outside to go to his gate, and it is on a rain, as he says. It is, what I take that to mean is it's raining outside. There's rain coming down. He's waiting under an awning of some sort as it rains around him, and he doesn't want to be there. The airport staff then says, hey, I see you guys standing under cover of this awning. I'm going to need you to move out from under this awning into the direct rainfall. And they're like, why? And they're like, you want to get kicked out of the airport? Step outside. So then you have to step outside because you don't want to get kicked out of the airport. You don't want to be labeled a security threat. So you just have to do whatever you're told in an airport by anybody at all times forever. So you just step out into the rain and you get soaking wet. And to top it all off, your God-given name is Norbert. But this is just an example of what you have to do at airports to survive. It is crazy. If the TSA asks you to do anything, you just have to do that thing. You have no choice. Do you want to go home? Do you want to go to your vacation? You have to do any single thing that anybody tells you at an airport at all times forever. Go stand in the rain. Stand out in the rain, Norbert. I got 3 more bangers of reviews for you. You ready? Our first banger of a review comes from Oksana, who says this: despite all the recent renovations, crowd management is non-existent here. There are 2 officers for 13 flights that just landed, and this is just for the US passport holders. 3 hours to get through customs. Everyone is rescheduling their rides every few minutes. When are we going to automate customs? And that's the sentence I really want to focus on. Oksana wants us to automate customs, and I'm just wondering how we would possibly do that. Just picture a drug mule walking up to a robot, and the robot says, welcome to the United States. Did you bring any drugs into the country? And the drug mule says, no. And the robot says, welcome home. But Oksana is hoping that when the robot asks that, the drug mule is going to be honest. He's going to admit, yes, I do have some drugs on me. And then that drug mule would get arrested by other robots who would take him to a jail run by robots. He would see a robot judge and be sentenced to a prison run by robots. Second absolute banger of a review. Amy says this: this woman is the rudest and meanest airport staff ever. Just so rude and mean, ruining the whole reputation. I believe she is Korean. She should work somewhere else since she must hate her job. And all I want to point out from this review is, if you think racism is a thing of the past, just remember, Amy felt the need to tell you she thought it was an important factor in this, that this woman is Korean. I just want to put that out there. Amy thought it was very important for you to know that this mean and rude woman, Amy believes this woman is Korean. I'm not saying racism isn't better than it's been in the past. I'm just saying Amy really wanted you to know that this woman is Korean. She thought that really mattered. Our third absolute banger of a review comes from our boy Brandon. He lives next to an airport, and he says this: horrible. They've succeeded in ruining the quality of life for everyone in the surrounding area. 10:50 p.m. It has been over 16 hours of non-stop flights. My house is shaking. Once again, no sleep for the common folk. $1 billion airline must vacuum more money. Brandon then includes these pictures of the flights surrounding his home. So part of me honestly does feel really bad for Brandon having to deal with this, especially if he can't sleep because his house is shaking. But if we look at these pictures, Brandon, what might be just a bit of an exaggeration is you posted the flight trackers for all of the flights in the US, Mexico, Northern South America, the entire Atlantic Ocean, West Africa, and West Europe, as if every single one of those flights is shaking your house currently, as if you can hear across the Atlantic to the flights in West Africa, and they are bothering you and keeping you awake. And so, Brandon, as much as I feel for you, I do want you to know that your home in Middle America, you cannot hear the flights that are happening in Western Europe. You cannot hear the flights that are happening in Brazil. It's impossible. And speaking of Brandon, if you're still watching this video, I love you more than big conservative people like to say the phrase, "let's go, Brandon," because it actually means something else to them. If you like the video, if you subscribe to the channel, if you comment on the video, I'd really appreciate it. See you next Friday.